This is Money Talk Radio, and I'm Ellis Martin. Join me now for a conversation with Francois Morin, a director with First Hydrogen Corp, trading as FHYD on the TSX Venture Exchange and FHYDF in the U.S. on the OTC. First Hydrogen is harnessing best-of-breed partners, staff, design technology, and green hydrogen to address one of the globe's biggest challenges, emissions. The First Hydrogen integrated clean energy ecosystem features zero-emission vehicles, hydrogen solutions, and powertrain supply. The company is removing adaptation barriers for zero-emission commercial fleets with its fully integrated green hydrogen-centric solution. First Hydrogen is creating scalable and replicable ecosystems for rapid expansion in attractive markets primed for high growth. We're talking about fully green mobility through practically every aspect of the production cycle. You'll hear how today. Mr. Morin brings a wealth of experience and demonstrated leadership abilities in business operations and development, corporate communications, social responsibility, ESG, media relations, and government relations. He is a steadfast advocate for responsible and sustainable investment, which he sees as crucial for social development. He brings hands-on experience in this area from his time at BMO Financial Group, where he played a pivotal role in implementing a sustainable finance program for the Quebec business sector.
Francois, great to see you here in Quebec City, Canada. Thank you so much for joining me today on the program.
My pleasure, Ellis.
I'm fascinated by hydrogen because until recently I didn't quite understand how it was going to be economic, how it'd work. But here we are in the mecca for hydroelectric power in Quebec Province, Canada. You're based here in this province. Tell me why it's extremely economic and probably the best place to work in the world.
Certainly in Quebec, we have green electrons by hydroelectricity, which makes it unique in the world. So as we're looking to decarbonize the society, and especially with First Hydrogen, we're looking to decarbonize the transport sector. And therefore, we're looking at producing hydrogen, and Quebec is certainly one of the best places to do that in the world. Therefore, this is why the company First Hydrogen is based and looking at Shawinigan, north of Quebec City, to create the manufacturing plant where we'll be producing our fuel cell vehicles using hydrogen as a source of power, the energy, to propulse the vehicles. For us, you could manufacture, create hydrogen using gas or fossil fuel, but then it's certainly not green hydrogen. For us, it's really important to find location where actually green molecules, green electricity is used to produce hydrogen in a green fashion, which is what we're looking for to decarbonize the transport sector. As we use the hydrogen in the fuel cell, then it's transformed into the electricity with the fuel cells. That electricity is used to power vehicles as a electric vehicle would actually do. So this is how we are looking for, and being based in Shawinigan also is Quebec is one of the biggest producer of electricity. So we do have a great partner with the Quebec government, and they are helping us, supporting us into our endeavor in decarbonization of the transport sector.
And how are they doing that specifically?
There's a few ways they're doing it. They're actually a partner, a financial partner of First Hydrogen. They are giving us privilege rates for the electricity, which makes it more appealing. As we're looking at the business model is really key for the adoption of fuel cell vehicles. We need to be able to be at par cost TCO, the total cost of ownership. We need to be able to be at par with diesel. So the vehicle has to be offered at the same amount as diesel. So having the government as a partner, it's key for us to get to that cost. So we're looking at very privileged rates on the electricity. Also, the Quebec government is a partner, financial partner, investing with us in creating this innovation. It's really part of an innovation. The vehicles we've built and are using right now for road testing doesn't exist anywhere. So we are really innovators, and therefore, as we know, we need some help financing these innovation to make it a viable business model. So the government is really key, especially the government of Quebec, to our development and expansion.
And these are ground-up vehicles, aren't they? You develop them from scratch, and you're beyond the R&D stage, more or less. You're still in R&D, but you have pilot programs that are functional with courier services already.
Yes, we are doing on-road testing right now with different companies such as Amazon, which we just finished a trial with in UK. So First Hydrogen has offices in Quebec, BC, and Vancouver, and also in the UK, London, where our automotive division is based. And this is where we have 2 demonstrators, vehicles built there, and we are using these vehicles to do on-road testing with parcel delivery companies. Like I said, Amazon is one of them. And basically, we just finished a month-long trial, and it was a total success. Just to explain to you what I mean by on-road testing, it's not really to get the driver, off we go, hippity-doo for a ride. There is a lot to it. It's a rigorous process, and it starts even before the driving of the on-road testing. First, we need to give training to the drivers, because driving with hydrogen is not the same as driving with diesel. It's really more smoothly. So there's some training you got to understand as we are looking at hydrogen being a different, getting to the speed. It's a different approach as you're driving it. So there's a day-long training with the drivers. And as you refuel, the vehicles, it's a total different story as well. Refueling with Amazon, there's pressure. It's not that it's dangerous, but we want the people that are using our vans to be really confident as they are driving these vehicles, because the more you are trusting the vehicle, the more at ease, the greater is the experience. So before we even get into the vehicle, we make sure that the drivers are at ease, that they really do understand how does it work. The tanks with hydrogen, the fuel cell, which is the engine, the conversion of hydrogen to electricity that is now to the powertrains, which makes the vehicles move. So we give them a day of training, a day to be used to refuel the vans, and then off we go for a trial. And when we do the on-road testing with the parcel delivery companies such as Amazon, we are really using their own drivers. It's a real live test. We are actually delivering parcels to the list of addresses if we were in a regular day of business.
No other way to test it otherwise, is there?
That's it. In the case we're talking about, we have delivered over 3,500 parcels.
Wow.
Yeah. And the drivers really put the van to the test. They're driving, stop and go, and put the brakes on. They know it's the demonstrator. And for us, this is great because the vans are loaded with sensors, and we are gathering very valuable data as these drivers, which are not First Hydrogen drivers, they're real Amazon drivers, as they are delivering those parcels. They double park. They do it as they would be doing it in the real context. We go to the warehouses in the morning, we fill the vans with the parcels, and off we go to deliver these parcels. And what we found out actually through the data that we've been compiling is that we need to improve some of the components. So this is key to us. This is still a demonstrator. This is, like you said, it is still research and development for us. So every time we do these live on-road testing of the vehicles, we gather the data and we use that to improve our vehicles. For an instance, we found out with the last trial with Amazon, we found out that the drivers, they leave the vans as they go and deliver the parcels on idle. They don't turn it off. We had some issues with that. We're going to fix it where after a while it will automatically shut down to save energy. We just found that out. These guys, they're so stressed with the numbers of parcels they have to deliver by day that there's no time to start the engine. So what they do is they leave it on idle, they go and deliver the parcel, come back and start off. So we were going to find an automatic system that will shut down the engine when after a while on idle, because we lost a lot of energy there. The other thing we found out is we're going to add on is predictive analysis of the energy consumption. So urban parcel delivery by fleet operators is not long distance. It's really short distance. Over a month, we did about 400 miles. 300 and 500 parcels delivered, over only 500 miles. So we need to be able to have predictive systems, AI system, artificial intelligence systems that will actually help us to have a predictive analysis of the energy consumption so we can maximize the cooling, the pressure, and all of the sensors that we can put into contribution to maximize the energy consumption. So this is something, it's a software, a predictive analysis software that we will add on to make sure that we are more efficient in the energy consumption.
So you have software engineers, energy engineers, and automotive engineers involved.
Yes.
That's a lot of engineers.
Yes, there is.
How do you manage all that?
Basically, we have a team of about 6 engineers, and we have automotive engineers that are specialized in the fuel cell, so it's more on the hydrogen side, and we have one engineer that is actually a software engineer that is able to program the data, program the systems, and as we know today, vehicles, cars, vans are loaded with software, and so all of these softwares are put into contribution to make increase the performance of the vehicles, but also to make the experience of the driving better for the users, for the drivers. So this is what we're working on. And the third component we just found out that we're actually working on right now is we need to have a pedal that is softer when you accelerate and have a dynamic braking system. This is 3 components, just to give you an example, that each live on-road testing is critical to us. And the more we do, the more information, the data we gather, the more we improve our vehicle. This is key to us. The trial starts before. There is the trial, and then afterwards, we actually are able to improve our vehicles that are put to the contribution in the trials.
I have so many questions for you and points I'd like to bring up. I'll just go through some of them. I drive a Tesla, and if I did that kind of commuting, these short stops all day long, that battery would be drained immediately, and I'd have to 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, and I'd have to spend an hour charging it up. I was going to go to a supercharger, and then all night if I'm at home. So how have you rectified that? Not to mention that in an environment like even England or northern Canada here, you've got cold weather, which is totally going to eat up a lot of energy. Are you dealing with any of those issues with hydrogen?
No, we're not. Basically, this is why we're looking at hydrogen as being a great solution for fleet operators that are using light-duty trucks to deliver their parcel or even to travel to their consumers, even in the construction industry. So regarding the energy, the electricity, the batteries have, the autonomy of the vehicles, with hydrogen you have no issues. A tank of 10 kilograms of hydrogen, which is what we have in our, so it's not big, 10 kilograms is about the size of a arm length. So that's what we have in a vehicle. This gives you an autonomy of 6 kilometers, which is about 400 miles. So per tank, 1 tank. So this is great. So you have no issues of worrying where am I going to get recharge. You got 400 miles under the hood that you could go on and no autonomy issues at all. And regarding the weather, there is no issues with the hydrogen unless you go minus 50. Then it starts to affect because it's a gas. But today, I don't think minus 50 is really seen anywhere. So other than that, there is no climate impact as far as cold. And plus, not using batteries like in some vans. What the battery stacks are, first of all, very heavy.
Very heavy.
Very heavy. Not good for the road.
Mine's 3 tons in my car.
That's it. It's not good for the road. Takes a lot of space also. The battery pack on your floor was really thick. It could be almost a foot thick. So this in a van, in a light-duty truck, takes a lot of cargo space. Let's go back to Amazon, where each parcel is actually thought of how you're going to be delivering that parcel and how many parcels you can deliver in one day. Cargo space is really material, and then battery stacks takes a lot of that space, so you don't have that issue with hydrogen either. Autonomy, no cold weather impact, and more cargo space hydrogen makes it a very good solution for fleet operators and fleet owners in parcel deliveries and utilities in the construction sector. So it's really important to understand is we're not trying to push the electricity out, but we're complementary. So we have our different segments where actually hydrogen is more beneficial than electricity using the batteries.
So you're working with Amazon now. I noticed you're also working with a company in Mexico. You've got a partner there. What happens when everybody says says, okay, we're ready, and you got to stage up and somehow produce like 2 or 10,000 vehicles? How does that happen?
The plant in Shawinigan that I was talking to earlier will be state-of-the-art manufacturing plant. And we're looking at when it will be full capacity running, producing in full capacity, we're looking at producing 25,000 vehicles per year up in Shawinigan here. These vehicles will be exported, so mainly to Canada and the United States. But as per South America, we have partners right now to look at a manufacturing plant near Mexico. So we are looking now at building hubs where there is a potential for hydrogen and our vehicles and partnerships. So right now we're looking at Europe as being a very strong market for our expansion, especially Germany. So we're looking at Europe, we're looking at North America, Canada, and the United States. The United States just announced over $7 billion investment in hydrogen. So they have created 7 hubs around the United States where they will be producing hydrogen. So this is a perfect hub, a perfect context for our market expansion. So we're looking right now to create partnerships in different those hubs. So basically we say, let's go with the flow, which is an expression. So at First Hydrogen, we say, let's go with the hydrogen flow. Where there is hydrogen, where there is green electrons, we could find hydrogen looking at building up a plant and trying to decarbonize our transportation sector, which is our main segment right now. I would say it's our tier 1 market.
Are we looking at a microcap company right now that is a future major in the automotive industry with respect to dominating in the commercial fleet area of that sector?
That's what we're aiming for. I think the market, especially in the light duty truck, the LCV light commercial vehicle, there's a good market that I think First Hydrogen could actually seize right now. And having hydrogen being new fuel cell, a new way, a new business model makes us appealing for companies such as First Hydrogen. We have actually gained leadership in the development of our vehicles, where I think we're 3 or 4 years ahead of the big OEMs, the GMs and the Fords, Stellantis. So we have that lead way right now, which makes us unique. The data I was talking to you about earlier is very unique. No companies in the world right now has done what we have accomplished with a hydrogen vehicle. Nobody has done that so far. So we are using this leadership to set our footprint in Europe, North America, and South America. And this is what we're looking at right now, is getting a heavy footprint, getting our foot into the ground to make sure that we are strong in these markets, to make sure that hydrogen is well understood, and to make sure that our business model is appropriate and answer the needs of our segment, which is the operators of fleets and parcel delivery, for instance.
Look, eventually you're going to be cutting into that business with regard to the automakers that you mentioned earlier. Are any of them talking to you right now about partnering with you to answer that business with you as as providing the vehicle?
Yes, in Europe, and I could mention it was announced on our website. In Europe, we were actually working with Volkswagen. They are highly interested in the hydrogen sector, and we are talking with them, and we're talking with other companies, big OEMs, and as an example, other companies such as Daimler is highly interested. You could actually see, if you go into their website, their interest for the hydrogen. They're talking about it. They're looking at the fuel cell technology as being something they will endorse. So there is movement right now, and hydrogen is here to stay. It will grow. It's a trend. It is strong. We're looking at investors that will actually understand the hydrogen sector and be able to support that growth, support that expansion within those different markets that I talked about. But something that's really key, I think we're all doing this for the decarbonization of our society. We can't sustain what we're doing now without doing anything. And the transport sector is a huge contributor to the pollution, is a huge contributor to the climate change that we're facing right now. So let's look at it, face the fact, and if you do, then First Hydrogen is certainly a key player that will help to decarbonize our society.
Well, we're really not doing that now because these cars that Tesla's building and all the automakers, they're not the carbon footprint is still heavy. It's pretty heavy. They're just not being produced in the cities, but it's happening somewhere in the world. We're using coal to generate electricity, basically, and you're doing none of this with hydrogen, especially here in the province of Quebec. That's amazing on its own. But now I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. We just have a few minutes left here. The financial opportunities, and let's just say we're making forward-looking statements, but I would imagine you'd be competing with stocks like Tesla or GM, Ford or Daimler or any of these folks. Have you done the financial forecast in that area? Can we even talk about it?
We could certainly take a look at it, and you could actually look. We are a public company, as everybody knows, and these forecasts right now are being under review. But it's certainly, we're picking up. It's certainly a market that is actually picking up. I think it's a great opportunity for investors right now. And as we are announcing different news, I think people will certainly agree that it is a great opportunity. And the market is actually, if you look at the hydrogen market overall, it is actually growing. And if you look at the numbers, what you need to look at is the number of hydrogen hubs or hydrogen investment that are done in Europe, the United States, and South America. Looking in South America, Mexico is becoming a strong believer in hydrogen. They just elected the new shaman. She is a top world-renowned person in climate change, environment protection. She used to be the environment minister of the government, and now she's president.
She's a scientist.
She's a scientist. She's a PhD. So you'll see, this is a signal that you got to look at. Around the world, you'll see these people that are leading the countries, and they're saying that's enough. Germany is one of them, if you look at the different announcements. So you got to be aware of looking at the different signals around the world that are, and these signal on conveying the message that hydrogen is a strong solution to decarbonize our society.
And you're trading at about what today?
We're trading at about, I would say, average $1. It goes up and down, but it should be picking up and go way more, climb way more than that.
And that is a forward-looking statement. I have to say that. Francois, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time today in the program.
It's been my pleasure to be here again.
I've been speaking with Francois Morin, a director with First Hydrogen Corp, trading as FHYD on the TSX Venture Exchange and FHYDF in the U.S. on the OTC. For more information on the company, go to firsthydrogen.com. For Money Talk Radio, I'm Ellis Martin.